decision to go with Starkville, just kind of what all went into it, and what do you foresee?
Yeah, I mean, like I think coaches already said it, we felt like, in the second half, we needed a little bit of a spark. Nick came in and did some good things, and, we had to open it up a little bit more in the second half. We got down, and he was able to make some nice throws. Ben played okay, missed some throws that wish we had back. Obviously, hitting dead wad down the middle right before half would have tied the game up. That was huge. We had a call to C.J. O'Grady there midway through the second quarter, I think it was. And he beats the guy, and we didn't get the call, but that was going to be a touchdown as well, because the guy was beat. And so those are the things that we got to hit. Obviously, the one dead wall would have tied the game, but Nick came in and did some nice things, threw the ball down the field well. Guys made plays for him and gave us a little bit of a spark. So we think it's his turn, and see what he does this week.
Coach, is running back, Devil had a couple of opportunities in the passing game, but it looks like Boyd's the only guy that's really getting you some production and aside from end around and stuff. How do you get these other guys, Chase and Devlog, going in the run game?
Yeah, I mean, we just got to be more consistent up front, and making holes for those guys. I think Rakeem is running with more confidence right now than those other two guys. He's able to lower his shoulder and be his own blocker sometimes. And I think the biggest thing with those guys is get them more confident, and they've played a lot of ball, and we got to get them more confident. Got to get them some more reps in practice, and try to keep bringing Monte along as well.
Chad mentioned the double pass went to the wrong side. If you could talk about the special plays and the Wildcat and how you think they worked and why the double pass thing didn't work.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Hard to explain. Honestly, we've thrown that ever since the beginning of fall camp. We've worked that play, getting ready for that game. Every time we've ever done it, we've thrown it to Traylon Burks, and so it's just one of those things, man, that just messed it up. They screwed it up, and we got to coach it better. We got to make sure that they understand that. And obviously, we had C.J. wide open down the field for a touchdown. We throw it to the right guy. So just one of those things that everybody makes mistakes, and just happened to be on that play. Every game you take a couple specials in. We've worked several throughout fall camp, getting ready for big games, and throwing the one to the reverse pass back to Mike Woods, was a big one too. Mike ran right into the safety. If not, it's wide open as well, and we really blow that thing open. So. Those things, they're kind of feast or famine. They hit, they do. It's big plays, and everybody's celebrating. If they don't, it's big loss plays. So stuff we got to clean up. We're going to take specials into every game. It's just what we feel like we got to do right now to create some momentum, to create some big plays, some explosive plays down the field, and we just got to execute a little bit better.
Go ahead, Nick.
How does Strongberg play, and just what's kind of Cap's situation right now?
Yeah, really proud of Ricky. For a guy that just got here, I mean, he earned playing time in fall camp. We say it all the time, you don't earn playing time in a game, you earn it in practice, and he's the epitome of that. He's worked his butt off, had a really good training camp, earned that spot, and like I said, we told him he was going to start on the road in the SEC, and he's like, okay. Didn't really faze him, and so we felt really, really confident putting him in there, and he did really, really well. I think he graded out the second best offensive lineman, so he did really well. Really, really proud of him. He's going to be a heck of a football player for us. Hopefully we get Caps back this week. Caps is, he tried to go last week, midway through the week, and it was just, killing him. So I think he's feeling better, and hopefully we get him back this week.
Coach, how long have you guys had that Wildcat implemented, and is there a backup block? Is there anybody else that's been under consideration for it? And also, at halftime, did you guys correct the depth with how far back the team was? Looked like he was closer up.
Yeah, no, we wanted him at 6 yards, 5.5, 6 yards, what we told him all week. We liked where he was. The one that he got tackled for a loss on the counter play, we had an MA up front. We didn't gap that protection or gap that scheme, which we had talked about all week. Miscommunication up front right there, but every other one, he was at right proper depth. We've worked with two other guys back there, just didn't get a chance to get them back there and do it. We felt like Rakeem, obviously we thought we were going to use a little bit more than we did, but you know, obviously it wasn't working the way we thought it would. It got, you know, 3 or 4 yards a couple times, and then obviously the big loss on the counter, like I mentioned. But other than that, you know, it was a good little wrinkle for us. Memphis ran it with some success the week before. It's something we've been working on. So we just felt like it was the right time to use it, try to gain a hat inside against Ole Miss, and that's what we probably took it in.
Who are the other two that you've worked there?
I don't really want to say, to be honest with you, in case we use it in the future.
When you use the terminology "open things up," when you start Starkville, does that mean you can be opened up? And schematically, what does that mean? Chad said something about it backed Ole Miss up a little bit. So what does it mean when things are opened up for you when Nick was in the game?
Well, I think honestly, you know, you see Nick's arm strength, and I think that he's able to push the ball down the field a little bit more. That may, you know, put a little more fear in those DBs and safeties that they can't just stop the run. You know, I think that's what Coach was referring to, is if you could loosen those safeties up a little bit, you're going to have more yards in the run game, and so that's what we feel like Nick can give and provide us, is maybe giving us a little bit more running room inside.
Coach, now that you've seen the offensive line against an SEC opponent, how would you compare it to last year's line, and what's better and what's maybe they're still struggling with?
Yeah, it's still a work in progress. You know, again, you always want to have continuity up front. You know, losing Caps was big, having to start a new guy in there. Like I said, Ricky played well. But anytime you're up there and you're playing with another guy and you're having to communicate and you're having to make those calls, it's a little bit differently. But, you know, they're still coming along. They're going to continue to work. I know they're a little bit disappointed. I know several of them went and met with Coach Fry yesterday when they came in, and they were disappointed. Obviously, we all work. We all want to win. We hate to lose, especially when we feel like we're a better team. But like I told the guys, you know, the best team don't always win. It's the best team that day that wins. And so we weren't the best team on Saturday, and that's why we lost. But those guys are disappointed. They're upset. They're going to do whatever it takes to get us right.
Just getting off to better starts in the first half, putting some points up on the board early. How much are you guys emphasizing that this week?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a huge emphasis. It's been a huge emphasis since the spring and our self-scout of last year. We've always talked about winning the first quarter, winning first down. We didn't do either one of those in the game the other day. We weren't very good on first down. We were really good on second and long, to be honest. Which is not what you want to be in, but we were actually pretty good on second and long. But we didn't win the first. We didn't win the first half. Our first quarter, we didn't win the first down efficiency either. So that's always been a huge emphasis for us ever since January, and something we got to continue to harp on and get that right.
Like 5 plays, how much can you emphasize to the players, you know, 5 mistakes of different, 5 throws, 5, you know, 3 penalties here and there? How much can you emphasize just how much of a little aspect of the game could completely change everything with
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, we always talk about as coaches, you never know, we tell our guys, you know, you never know what 1 or 2 plays will change the game, the course of the game. You know, and the other night it's 10-3 ball game. We run the double pass, throw it to the wrong guy, we talked about, and then 2 plays later we scored a touchdown to Trey Knox and got a call back for, you know, covering a tight end up, you know, in a formation we've run 100 times, you know, so probably 20 times a practice. And so, you know, those are just the little things that you got to clean up. You know, I'm down because we lost, but I'm really encouraged to see some young guys out there making plays and doing things. Again, just cleaning up 1 or 2 of those mistakes could be the changing the ball game. You know, you get the momentum on your sideline, you never know what happens. And I think either one of those 2 plays have been huge momentum changers in the game, and the outcome could have looked a little bit differently. But you know, we always talk about that. You can definitely pinpoint a couple of plays the other night that, you know, if we hit those, or big plays or touchdowns, and the course of the game has changed.
Hey, Joe, what's your scouting report on Colorado State? When I looked at their D-linemen, they looked like SEC caliber D-linemen, and they had big linebackers. What do you think of those guys?
Well, they're much improved from last year. Their D-line plays extremely hard, like you said. They're thick-legged. They got a lot of weight up front. They played a lot of ball. Their senior, junior, pretty much driven up front. The secondaries come a long way. They mix and match. They do a lot of different coverages, bring so many the different pressures out of different looks, and You know, we'll take the rest of the day, continue to game plan, have a great plan for these guys, and be ready for them. But they're much improved. They're flying around. They're playing hard. They really are, and it's going to be a good challenge for us.
So the turning point game last year, I imagine you don't have to say much to these guys to motivate them after the way things went.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, last year, I don't remember the exact time in the game, but I know we had a 28-9 lead at some point, and you know, felt pretty good about where we were, and obviously blew that lead and weren't able to sustain it, weren't able to put it away on offense, and you know, you shouldn't have to say much to these guys. I think they know they're coming to our place now, and we got to protect our home field just like if anybody was coming to our place. So you know, it's all about us. It's always been about us. You know, we say it all the time. The only team we feel like we can't beat is us if we make mistakes. You know, if we make our own mistakes and we can't get all our own way, we're not going to win. We can't beat the Arkansas Razorbacks, and felt like that's what we did the other night too.
The last two games, it kind of had the feel, or you guys either said it, we're going to give Nick some snaps. Is it the same way for this game, that Ben is going to get snaps, or just to wait and see, feel it, get the feel for the game?
Yeah, we'll feel it out. You know, Ben's played a lot of ball. We felt like, you know, obviously Nick had to get some snaps to get some experience. He hadn't played in a year and a half, whatever it's been. So we had to get him some experience, get him some reps, get him out there. Ben will be ready. Ben will be ready to go. He's a veteran guy. He knows the system. So he'll be ready if that time comes. But you know, right now we want to see what Nick can do. And Nick obviously again provided us a spark the other day and did some good things. Got to clean up some things and some mistakes. But again, he's only a couple months into the system as well. So he's going to be fine. He'll be all right, and we'll get him ready to go. We'll see when Ben.
Should he have back trailing off? I mean, pre-snap on that play, backed off the line.
Traylon was off the line.
Oh.
He threw it to
Talking
Mike.
about when he had 8 men on the line.
The Trey Knox touchdown.
Talking about the touchdown. Yeah, you would like to, you know, that's what I tell those guys all the time. You know, playing with freshmen out there, you know, you'd like to look out there and see that, back him up. But, you know, he's got to do his job too. And, you know, Traylon owned up to that. You know, Traylon knew that, you know, he had messed it up. And, you know, we tried to, again, you got freshmen out there, they're going to make mistakes. You know, we try to encourage Traylon, and he, you know, he owned up to it, you know, and said, Coach, y'all, we've done that a million times since I've been here. This is on me. And so, you know, you'd like to think Nick would have looked out there and saw it. I certainly saw it from the press box. I was hoping the ref didn't see it or something, you know, but obviously they did and threw the flag. But, you know, something you would want your quarterback out, just to look out there and make sure everybody's off the line, especially when you're playing with those young guys.
Did Coylan's play, I'm not sure how many snaps he got, but he got a touchdown. Does that get him more playing time? What does that do for the rookie?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when a guy plays well like that, you want to try to get him in more. I was very pleased with Coylan. Did some good things, caught his first touchdown. Was really proud of him for that. You know, called him out in the team meeting and told him, you know, congratulated him on that. But was really proud of how he played. Did some good things, ran some good routes. You know, some of those plays he was running were some read routes, and he did a really good job of reading it the right way, and Nick saw it the same way, and that's why he was 2 completions. So, yeah, hopefully we can get him in there a little bit more this week.
Has Tyson Morris contributed maybe a little more than you thought he would? Or?
You know, when you lose Deion Stewart early on in camp, you know, you think that Tyson's going to have to play more, and we had to move Devion around a little bit, which opened up again a spot for Traylon and for Timo. And so that's kind of why you see him out there a little bit more. But he's, you know, even last year, dating back to last year, he made some plays in some big games. The Alabama game, he made a couple plays, and so you know, I like having him out there. He's a big body. I know he missed the block that he wants back, but on the perimeter. But he's doing some good things out there. We got to continue to bring him too.
Well, what did you see from Trey Knox in terms of advancement, game 1, game 2, and how he projects?
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm very encouraged with the young guys we got. You know, those guys are going to be really good players for us. With Traylon and Trey and Ricky and Alt Hudson and Monte. I'm going to miss some, but I mean, those guys are going to be really good players for us. And it's just good that those guys are getting huge experience right now. Starting in the SEC on the road, you know, that's huge experience, and I don't think the bright lights were too big for Trey. I don't think they were too big for Traylon. I think those guys came out to play. You saw both of them get the ball in their hand and do something with it. So Trey was our player of the game, Trey Knox, and obviously, again, if we don't cover him up, he scores a touchdown, and he has more yards, and he has a touchdown under his belt, and all that kind of thing. But I thought he did. I thought he made some good plays, made some really good plays, and again, got to continue to bring him along. I understand we're going to have some young guy mistakes, but again, he's gaining valuable experience right now playing in the SEC, especially on the road.
All right,
Thanks.